singing, 47 years old. She had the courage to stand up, and look what she does. She sings, and she is out of there. She forgot they're going to tell her if she gets to stay or not.
Susan Pearce.
Without a doubt, that was the biggest surprise I have had in 3 years of the show. When you stood there with that cheeky grin and said, I want to be like Elaine Page, everyone was laughing at you. No one is laughing now. That was stunning, an incredible performance.
I'm so thrilled because I know that everybody was against you. I honestly think that we were all being very cynical, and I think that's the biggest wake-up call ever. And I just want to say that it was a complete privilege listening to that. It was
I knew the minute you walked out on that stage that we were going to hear something extraordinary, and I was right. Okay, moment of truth. Here's yes or no.
The biggest yes I have ever given anyone.
Amanda?
yes, definitely.
Susan Boyle, you can go back to the village with your head held high. It's 3 yeses.
Give her one more round of applause. We have the words up there, saluting the divine within, which is the definition of Namaste. Every person in this room, every person watching this live or later in the next week or two, you are an unrepeatable miracle. There is nobody like you. In a forest of 100,000 trees, no two leaves are alike. I saw several of you. And there's a lot of bright light, so it's hard to even look out, wiping tears from your eyes. I can still hear. They're tears of joy. They're tears of, sometimes we have dreams. Do we dare go after our dreams? Dreams are free. So free your dreams. Can you imagine? I can't. The courage it took for her at the age of 47, being told by her parents, you're an embarrassment, quit singing, for her to stand up. And you saw her put everything out. When she was done, she wanted to get off that stage. And she has impacted tens of millions of lives. You are not, I look at Alan Nagao here, a very unique individual. He's unique. All of you are unique. He's one of a kind, is he not? Yes. Is he one in a million?
Yes.
He is, and so are you, and so am I. He is one of one. I have a new book called The 7 Affirmations, and the first affirmation is, I am an unrepeatable miracle. And the affirmative law that goes hand in hand with that is that I am one of one. You are one of one. I hope that will sink in and you can feel that and you can realize when you step forward with courage, there's 8 words I want you to write down right now. When you act as if it is impossible to fail. Act as it is impossible to fail. Unforeseen forces. Unseen forces, as Artemis said from this stage, they will appear. It's simply acting as if it's impossible to fail. Joseph Campbell in The Power of Myth said, the cave we fear to enter holds the treasure that we seek. Act. As you lead this experience with optimism, excitement, a plan, given new skills and ideas, go out and act as if it's impossible to fail. My second word I wanted to share with you is kindness. And I'm going to move forward a little bit quick because I'm going to skip something right here. I'm going to maybe come back to that clip. But this word describes kindness to me. Can you go back one slide? Just go back one slide to Genshai. Can you bring that up? In the back. Genshai is spelled G-E-N, there it is, S-H-A-I. It's a word that comes from the sacred writ in India. And I discovered this on a trip to Vienna, Austria, to meet with Viktor Frankl's family. He wrote Man's Search for Meaning. He survived 4 death camps in World War II. And he said that what is to give light must endure burning. He knew what that meant. My last night in Vienna, I met a storekeeper going in to buy some fabric for my daughter's wedding dress. And he heard I'd been with the Frankel family. And he said, "You must be one of the greats. Will you sign my book of greats?" Mother Teresa had crossed his path. Artemis has met Praveen. Gandhi. His mother lived with Gandhi. Indira Gandhi had signed this book. He produced a book. It was this high, this wide, this book of greats. And he said, "Kevin, will you sign my book of greats?" I didn't feel too Gandhi-ish that day. I didn't feel too Mother Teresa-ish that day. Do little things with great love. And I said, "I'm sorry, but I can't sign this book of greats." He wanted me to sign it under Viktor Frankl. He took me to dinner and he explained this word. And if you don't hear anything today, I hope you'll hear this. Genshai means that you would never treat another person in a manner that would make them feel small, including yourself. Underline, highlight, put in quotes, say yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
including yourself. We don't see the world as it is. Do we have optimism? Do we have excitement for the next year? It depends on how you see yourself. You get the man or woman right, you're going to get the world right. And the way you treat yourself reflects in the way that you treat others. I want you to remember that you are the goose that lays the golden egg. Take care of the goose. Take care of you so you can take care of others. And treat yourself kind. And when you look in the mirror, remember you're an unrepeatable miracle. And don't ever treat yourself small. He made me make a commitment to him that night over a Chinese dinner. This is going to China. This is being translated in Chinese and Vietnamese and Spanish. In Vienna, the schnitzel capital of the world, we have about a 2-hour Chinese dinner. And he says, "Kevin, promise me you will never, ever treat yourself small again. And that you will teach this word to as many people as you possibly can." And I committed that night to do that. And this is many years later that I get a chance to share that word. That one word. If you live into it, it's one thing to say a word, it's another thing to live into it. You live into that word, it'll change your life. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself a little grace. And don't make comparisons. Comparison is the thief, I say, of all joy. I've heard it said, comparison is the thief of joy. I think it's the thief of all joy. You don't need to compare anything that you have with anything that anybody else has. They're an unrepeatable miracle. They are one of one. You're an unrepeatable miracle. You are one of one. Never treat another person in a manner that would make them feel small, including yourself. So my first word was what? Courage. It takes courage to act as if it's impossible to fail. It takes courage to jump out of that airplane like Victoria did. It takes courage to get to the edge and say yes. And then it takes kindness to yourself and to others. Can you imagine what this world would be? Look at the division that has happened in our world in the last year, the last 2 years, the last 5 years, the last 10 years. Artemis took you through, let's look at 27. Let's go out. I love that. Let's go out 5 years from today. I want to tell you something. We tend to overestimate what we can do in 1 year. But we highly underestimate what we can do in 5 years. I hope you won't forget that. If it gets a little bit hard, which it will in the middle of the journey this year in 2022, and you're envisioning what Artemis took you through in 2027, remember, we might overestimate what we can do in a year. That's okay, overestimate. Shoot high, go for it. But don't shorten your vision. Dreams are free of what you can do in 5 years. And my third word is consistency. And I heard Artemis say that in her presentation as well. And I know you're going to hear that from the last speaker here that follows me today. The next speaker that follows me. I've had the opportunity to work with Olympic athletes, with world champion athletes, with some of the top sales leader coaches in the world. And the difference is that they are consistent, right? And persistent. One of my affirmations from the 7 affirmations is that I am capable. I can do more because I was made for more. You can do more because you were made for more. And it's being consistent and persistent. It's not the one-hit wonder. It's not coming out of here on Saturday or Sunday and Monday and just, I've got 24 hours, I'm going to get it all done. It's being consistent. You can hear a world-class athlete, a world-class Hall of Fame speaker, Hall of Fame athlete, Hall of Fame person, one of my best friends, follow me. And he earned 2 gold medals and a silver medal. He would have 3 gold medals if he hadn't hopped about that much on his final dismount in the all-around. And he earned those medals by being consistent and persistent. I'm going to show a clip that I'll introduce it with this little Facebook post. Can you see that? You see it there? Can you pull up that clip that just shows the Facebook post from Jada Pinkett Smith? Just go back 2 slides. I'll have my pro in the back. Ashton, just pull that up right there. Can you see that? When Aspire first came out, it was in 2010, and some of the first readers of that book, some of them are in this room today. And I used to get online when somebody would post something, and I would just send them a message. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you liked the book. Anything I could improve, something you like. This came out, I didn't know who she was. Jada Pinkett Smith. And this happened. Maybe I'm not very socially, adapt. I said to my wife, look at this beautiful woman. She just said my book's a must read. And she posted this when her daughter Willow did something called Whip My Hair. And this received millions of likes, mostly because of her daughter posting her hair. And we sold out of books everywhere in the world. I'd try to go buy my book on the road wherever I was, and I couldn't get it. It sold out because of this. And then I looked, how on Facebook you can look down and see who their friends are? So I said to my wife, look, she even knows Will Smith. Because there was a picture of Will Smith. And Sherry said, Kevin, you got to pick up a newspaper once in a while. She's married to Will Smith. And his book, Will, just came out, and he was very kind to say something about Aspire in that book. So she must have influenced him when she said it's a must read. Maybe she made Will read it, so he had to put it in the book. We're going to go to the final clip. Would you just go forward, if you would, Ashton, to All In? This clip that I'm going to show, before we show it, and I'm going to finish with this, and then I'll introduce my dear friend that's going to come up. This is the epitome of being consistent and persistent. How many of you have seen or watched The Pursuit of Happiness? Anybody in this room? Wonderful movie. Chris Garner was homeless with his son. That's who Will Smith plays. He found out that he had a gift. just like Susan Boyle that day found that she had a gift. And he had to be consistent and persistent and have that drive, that desire, that white fire that we hear about to push on. I was speaking on stage in Los Angeles a few years ago, and we had several hundred people, maybe a few thousand people in this gathering. While I was on stage, just about ready to tee this up, Chris Garner calls the meeting producer, because he's going to be speaking at one of their next events, and she says, Kevin Hall's on stage, and he's about ready to show your clip. And so she brought the phone out. It was kind of strange to share that. We have the same publisher for The Pursuit of Happiness as I do for Aspire. I love this movie. We've reduced it to just a few minutes here as I end my thoughts. Can you play this video? And I'm going to talk over it just a little bit.
Can I say something? I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer. Is that fair enough?
Chris, what would you say if a guy walked in for an interview without a shirt on? And I hired him. What would you say?
He must have had on some really nice pants.
Two hearts beating like a flower, and all this waiting for the power, for some answer to this fire, sinking slowly, the water's higher.
You're going to hear a word. Do you hear it?
Desire,
There's your key to being consistent. You might hear it again.
desire,
Did you hear it?
Desire.
with no secrets, no obsession. This time I'm speeding with no direction, without a reason. What is this fire burning slowly? I'm running on
Can you hear it?
desire, 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 desire.
I thought I'd wear a shirt today, being the last day and all.
Thank you. Wear one tomorrow, though, okay? Because tomorrow's going to be your first day. We couldn't be happier. So, was it as easy as it looked?
No, sir. I'm sure it wasn't.
That you find me, that you see me, that you run
You see that? The pain,
never tired.
the suffering, the consistency. It's soon forgotten because the memory of the victory lives on for hours. Dan McCormick, you've been talking about that every Saturday for year after year after year. We can do incredible things if we have enough reasons why. There was Chris Garner's why right there. That little boy. You want to be consistent, you want to be persistent, have the desire and find your why or your whys. Here's a series of words from my book, Aspire: to be humble, to be teachable, to grow, to have the passion to finish what you start, to never treat yourself small, to tap into your unique gifts. Know that you're one of one, that you're a leader of leaders, and to see things, superior videre, that others don't see, and to breathe life into others, and to act with all your heart and all your might. That word all in comes from the ancient Aztecs. When a great storm or earthquake was about to shake the earth, they would scream, you got to move and act with all your heart right now. I want to thank you for the privilege and opportunity to be with you today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, thank you. My privilege. I will be here for the next few hours over to the side because I want to listen to what is following.